And as a personal and business success coach, Pradnya works with individuals, business owners, executives, and teams to help them achieve truly transformational goals and life-changing results. She uses a proven methodology that is based on 60 years of research in the field of mind, human behavior, and human potential. By understanding and applying proven success and mindset principles, Pradnya's clients frequently astonish themselves with what they're able to accomplish in less time and with much less effort than they previously believed possible. She believes that once we work on both mindset and an action plan, our effectiveness will exceed our expectations. Welcome, Pradnya.
Thank you, Kelly. It's an absolute privilege to be here with you, and thank you for hosting this. And I so look forward to answering your questions and sharing some valuable information.
That's exactly what we're hoping for. We love getting guest experts in to share their knowledge and help expand small businesses and help them achieve their true potential. So let's get started with a little bit about you. What was your journey that brought you to where we are today?
And you know what, Kelly, just a quick point. You're doing a fabulous job doing precisely that, educating the small, business owners. So thank you again. My journey, Kelly, started about 3 years ago on this path as a mindset-based business and a personal success coach. But it wasn't a straight path coming into this vocation right out of school or something, right? I invested about 10 years of my life in the corporate world, and it was an amazing run. I worked for IBM and then Salesforce in corporate sales, sales enablement and execution, and then global marketing leadership. So was I growing? Day in and day out, left and right? But the question that kept lingering in my heart and in my mind was that, was I fulfilled? I came to the conclusion that there is a difference between achievement and fulfillment. And with all due politeness, my resume looked stellar, but there was a gaping hole in my heart. And I really wanted to live the life of fulfillment and contributing to others that's meaningful to me as well. Does that make sense?
Oh, it makes perfect sense. I think that's actually what brought a lot of us to this place, is the idea that corporate America just was not fulfilling the inner need to contribute to the world at large, at least not in the way that was fulfilling for me personally, and it sounds like for you as well.
And Kelly, I think you bring up a very good point. There's nothing wrong being in the corporate world. I assure you, and I'm speaking on our behalf, we're both grateful for how the corporate America sculpted us, right? The skill set, the experience, the many things that we gained from investing our time in the corporate America, right? But then on the other hand, I'm sure you've heard of it, that desire is a possibility within, seeking expression without, to and through you. So somebody at IBM, at Salesforce, at the corporate company that you work for, I'm sure they had a desire to be in the executive ranks and really lead teams and make a name for their company in their industry. But your and my desire was different, which is what brought us to this point. Won't you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about that and kind of delve more into that desire, and then also mindset and how that affects your success. I mean, we were successful in the corporate world. We're building our empire in the entrepreneurial space. But let's talk about mindset and how that affects what we do and how we do it.
I mean, in a nutshell, Kelly, it's everything. For me, I didn't realize the importance of mindset, even though I've always been a student of it, maybe since 2006 or so, how critically important it is, right? And you might have heard, Solomon saying, in all of your getting, get understanding. right? And that is because everything is created twice, Kelly. Once on the internal plane in our powerful human imagination, and then to and through via our actions on the physical plane. I mean, think about this software that we're using to live stream, broadcast this interview to different platforms. Think about the cell phones that we're using. First, it had to exist in somebody's mind, and they had to entertain that idea in their powerful human imagination, even when there was no physical proof that it could be brought into physical reality, right? So then would you agree that everything had to happen twice? Now, what we didn't learn in our journey, Kelly, is that thought is the most potent form of energy that there is. Thought is really creative in nature, whether we're creating what we want or whether we are creating unintentionally, habitually, what we don't want. And that is where you understanding your mindset really gives you an advantage, sort of a assurance. And I always like to explain this, Kelly, with a couple of examples. First and foremost, I'll say that think about it. When you and I were going through educational system, kindergarten, elementary school, middle school, high school, right? We learned all about different topics and subjects, biology and chemistry and civics and geography and algebra, right? Then we got into the vocational world. And in our corporate world, we learned what we learned. In our entrepreneurial journey, we learned business development, marketing, serving clients, finance, all of that, right? And that knowledge is important, very, very important, because it gets a seat at the table, right? But that knowledge is potential power. It's what we do or don't do with that knowledge dictates to the extent to which each one of us will be successful. And what we do with it or don't do with it is dictated by our mindset, is dictated by our understanding of ourselves. So just gaining knowledge, it's not sufficient. You have to have self-knowledge. And that self-knowledge piece, Kelly, is what mindset allows us to do. And I said I would give you a second example. So think about two entrepreneurs, right? Even our viewers, think on two entrepreneurs serving to clients in the same industry, almost similar sort of clients, right? They've both gone through similar sort of education, have similar sort of, work experience, right? But why does the performance differ, Kelly? Where one entrepreneur is really blowing past their own expectations versus the other one is barely, keeping the lights up and struggling.
I bet
Intuitive.
you have. Yeah, I was going to say, I bet you have the answer for that.
And I'm sure you're guessing it as well, because this entrepreneur that's doing well, intuitively, each one of us knows that this person is thinking differently. This person operates differently. They are more confident. They have more grit. They have better attitude. Their belief system is different, right? And their emotional state is full of expectation and faith versus doubt, fear, and worry and anxiety, right? But then the question, and I think this would really summarize my point, is that all the things that I said, this person's thinking, beliefs, behaviors, habits, expectation, attitude, grit, where is it? If I were to shake your hand, I can literally feel your palm. But where is this person's thinking, mindset, beliefs, behaviors, habits, grit, confidence? You can't touch it. I can't touch it. So in a nutshell, it's that invisible side, Kelly, of our personality to and through our behavior and action sculpts the visible side of our results. And that's the piece that we ought to understand. As we understand that, then we're able to bet on ourselves. I hope that makes sense.
Oh, it makes perfect sense. I think while you were talking about this, I have several entrepreneurs who built major empires came to mind, but the one that came to mind immediately was Elon Musk, and that is simply because over and over again he seems to keep breaking the norms, and he just does things that people, I've learned don't bet against him, I guess is what I'm saying. But he has a mindset that it can be achieved. If he believes, it can be achieved. So
no, it is so beautiful that you're, bringing that point into discussion, Kelly, because think about it. At first, Elon Musk was in information technology industry. Then he got into, renewables, right? With
Mhm.
Tesla and whatnot. And now he's branching out into something else. So was knowledge important? Absolutely. Did he understand the things that allowed him to be in that leadership position? It did, right? But that knowledge again, and skills and strategies and tactics and tips, all of those things, Kelly, are like brick and mortar. You need brick and mortar, Kelly, to be able to put together the tower of your life or your business. But then can you create that skyscraper? Can you make it stand up on quicksand? No.
No.
You have to have the right foundation. So again, tying it back to mindset is that foundation, and skills and strategies, tips and tools, which all play an important role. They're all like that brick and mortar analogy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And of course, I'm a firm, over and over again, I talk about the foundation, having a foundation of how you create your business, that you create it on a solid foundation, and then you have the ability to make your dreams come true. But the flip side of that is that you need to not spend so much time on the foundation and that you lose sight of the dreams, or that you don't accomplish your dreams because you're not in forward movement. A friend of mine talks about getting ready to get ready to do something. And so this, I think, is really important to put you in action, to give you the confidence to have the innate self-confidence to know that the choices you make you may not hit a home run every time out of the park, but that's fine. Again, Thomas Edison said, after many, many failed experiments, he's just learned another way that it won't work, and, continued on, of course. We all benefit at the end.
I think, again, you're touching on a very important point. Action's a critical part. Kelly, the way I explain to anybody, including my clients and students, is that thought allows you to create, but action allows you to receive. So just because you're understanding how to cultivate success, prosperity, fulfillment mindset doesn't mean you can skip the action, right? But at the same time, you don't hide behind the mindset work, right? But you understand that it truly is 95% mindset and 5% strategy. What do I mean by that? You are not chanting some sort of a mantra for 16 hours a day. That's not what I mean by that. But it's like in the morning or at nighttime when you're working on your mindset, it's like sharpening the axe. And when that axe is really all razor sharp, you can chop the trees. So the strategy is very important, very important. But the successful execution of that strategy to help you get the business results that you want or life results that you want, it depends on your mindset, right? And let me tie it back to action piece, Kelly, okay? When I say mindset, I'm not talking about just positive thinking. Positive thinking is good, but you've got to understand that, there are two parts to the mind. Simply put, conscious mind and subconscious mind. So you and I could think positive thoughts in our conscious mind, but that is responsible for only 2 to 4% of our results, perception, and behavior. So then one has to really understand, when I say mindset, how to use their thinking and thoughts deliberately to be able to shift this conditioning that is at the subconscious level, right? Because then they can shift their habit life. They can do things that they're procrastinating on. They can face the fears that they're putting on the back burners, right? They can close the knowing doing gap. So action's a critical component, but when you really understand what mindset is and are working inside out, you cannot help but get into action, because your subconscious mind truly is a doing mind. It's an emotional mind. As you are emotionally vested in the vision that you are committing to materialize, you cannot help but get into action.
Well, that sounds so exciting. I do know another friend was saying, entrepreneurship is a roller coaster ride. And I think that's so true. A lot of times we have the plans, we have the dreams, and we are in action, and then we go off the rails, or we get to the top of that peak, and then something happens, and we start to it's peaks and valleys, chicken or feathers. And so with the right, in my estimation, with the proper mindset, it's a lot easier to weather. I'm using all my analogies today, to weather the storm and and get through the tough times, or the tough days, or the problem that won't get solved, or those sorts of things, because you've got an underlying understanding of the path that you're on. Is that correct?
You're a great interviewer. I've got to give that to you, Kelly.
Thank you.
You are spot on. When you understand, Kelly, that mindset is not a buzzword, right? And let me just take a quick deeper dive, and then I'll come back and speak to it. Like, Kelly is your name. Pradnya is my name. I live in an Indian body, Indian looking shell. You live in white body, right? Caucasian shell, right? But that is the home that we live in.
Mm-hmm.
Our name, your name is Kelly, my name's Pradnya, and then we live in our body. But the real us is on the invisible plane. It's the spiritual, energetic, vibrational being. It's pure awareness. So when you're really beginning to understand that with your thoughts, with your belief system, with the state of mind that you're entertaining, you're actually co-creating your results in conjunction with the universe. And I really took a little bit of a deeper dive. Then you're not afraid. Even though things can't or sometimes won't happen overnight, you persevere. You have patience because you have inner, deeper understanding. You with me? And then the second thing with mindset, Kelly, is that people who really understand how the internal forces are related to your behavior and ultimately to fetching you the results you want, they understand that their physical reality, be it their fulfillment, business prosperity, relationships, or health, it's a reflection of them. All the thoughts and ideas and beliefs that they have internalized up until this point in time are reflected via their actions and state of mind into their results. So when you know that, then you know where the causal plane is and where the effects are to be observed. So then when you're going after a goal such as entrepreneurial journey where you've never been before, right? You're going to have to do something you have never done before. So then you will be greeted with adversity. You will at times fall flat on your face, but you will understand that failure is a feedback. Failure doesn't mean that we are not meant to succeed. How often does a child, when a child is learning to walk, how often does the child declare to you, hey, I'm just not meant to walk?
Absolutely. They dust yourself off and get back up and do it again.
And then in entrepreneurial journey, right? When you're in an employee world, again, I'm not saying one is better than the other or any of that, but let's say when we're in the corporate world, we're focusing on one silo and really are developing expertise and strong acumen, business acumen in that silo. When you become an entrepreneur in that initial stage, when you're bootstrapping yourself, you have to understand business development to marketing to sales to customer delivery to customer satisfaction and finance and operations. So can you flatten out all the, all of this? Can you learn all of this and flatten out the learning curve overnight? No, you can't. But once you understand how to, and again, we can speak to that a little later, but once you understand that there's a process, that there's a system in bringing your vision into reality, then you're just surrendering to the process. You're not worrying about, are the fruits here yet? The analogy that really will help understand or help our viewers understand this is that when we sow the seeds, Kelly, we water the seeds, we give them sunlight, we fertilize them. But then every 2 days or every week, do you go there and dig a hole and scour it and see, is the plant here yet? Why isn't it here yet? Will it ever grow? You and I understand not to do it, but let's say my daughter, when she was 2 years old, she would have done that.
Oh, yeah,
so it's
absolutely.
the same thing, just like seeds have gestational period, our business dreams, life dreams have gestational period.
That's a great analogy. I love that. So we've talked about mindset. We've talked about creating a foundation in business and your mindset. And now let's talk about actually achieving those goals. How do you set the right kind of goal? How do you create a goal that enables you to achieve the kind of success that you are looking for?
That's a powerful question. We've all learned how to set goals in our school life, in our professional lives. But what I learned from my mentor really got me to think a little differently. Goal is not something that you just, think about and put something together. Goal, in that sense, is really piece of the puzzle. And let me speak to that. There is a purpose, then there is vision, and there is goal. Purpose, Kelly, is the way you want to live your life. That's what gets you out of the bed. That's your music. That's how you want to contribute to this world. That's your purpose. Vision, Kelly, is a long tunnel view of how you can live this purpose. So, for example, as an entrepreneur, I can help my clients. I could do pro bono work. I could have speaking engagements to enable, educate people who are not yet exposed to this. There are very many modalities in which I can live my purpose. And that is a vision, right? Vision, again, is a long tunnel view and of multiplicity of things that you can go after, that you can work with to live your purpose. And goal is a chunk out of that vision that you're working on any given point in time. And when you have that sort of an alignment, it's beautiful, because anytime you go after your goal, you're materializing your vision and thereby living your purpose. Now, with that sort of a context in mind about goal, I would say when an entrepreneur or any person, as a matter of fact, is setting a goal, they have a tendency to look backward and see what they have been able to accomplish. And then they use their intellect and they say, okay, I can do 5%, 10% better, right? But that is, they're letting their past dictate how far they can go or won't go. Instead, the question they should ask themselves is that, what would I really love accomplishing and achieving? And I'm not talking about setting goals that are not within the bounds of nature, right? I can't develop wings. That's not what I'm talking about, right? But I can.
Right? There goes my dream. Okay.
But we can set goals that are, multiplying our revenue or our service or our contribution, right? So the goals can, I say the quintessential definition of a right type of goal is something that you really, really want, something that gets you really excited, but it also scares you at the same time because you do not know the how. You do not know how to go after that dream or goal, yet it's always pulling on your heartstrings. It speaks to you. It keeps you up at night thinking about, you feel the joy when you're fantasizing about that goal. So my request to people is that don't go after what you've already done. Don't go after what your intellect will tell you that you can do, but really go after what you really, really want, right? And if they were to sort of reverse engineer, ask themselves, I would ask them to ask themselves, what sort of a lifestyle I want to create for my loved ones? What kind of experiences that I want to afford in my life? What sort of a contribution that I want to make in pro bono way or philanthropic way? And then figure out what does that lifestyle expects you to earn, because earning is nothing but reward. Money is nothing but reward received for the services rendered. Then get ready and roll up your sleeves to be wanting to provide that type of service to people. Yeah.
So yeah, I love that. I was thinking about, there's a concept of a force multiplier, and I haven't really delved into it with my clients yet, but I think that that's something that we should discuss. And that is, if you're doing a construction project and you've got a crew of 10 people, you figure out the job will take so long to accomplish.
Yeah.
So if you suddenly move that deadline closer by 2 weeks, what's it going to take to get that same project accomplished? Does it mean that you have 20 people on the job and now it works? Probably not. Does it mean that you do multiple shifts, or you do something different with how you create? The idea of using that force multiplier concept is that you want to figure out how to achieve the same goal when the parameters of creating that goal change. So it sounds super aligned. There's an alignment with what you're talking about. If you develop a goal, can you achieve that goal, that same goal, and get the results that you want by thinking differently about how you accomplish it?
And again, you're giving a very good example. I don't necessarily 200% agree with the word force, but I know what you mean, like constrained, right? Constrained. When you're setting a goal, that's something that you've never done before, right? But you really, really want it, and you begin to shift your thinking, right? You will come up with ideas as you get emotionally involved in that goal and strategies and things, but you cannot put the cart before the horse. You cannot say, tell me how I can get to this goal, and then I will commit to accomplishing that goal. You first have to make a decision, which is a mental move. And then as you start shifting your thinking, you start getting emotionally involved in that goal, and your belief system is now shifted, right? You will start getting inspiration, nudges, and ideas that you will then act upon to do something you've never done before, to get the job done that you've never got done before in that stipulated time. But that's one way of looking at it, Kelly. And then the other way that really resonates with me is that, regardless of which way you look at it, Kelly, theology or science, right? Theology says that there's infinite potential in us. And then science says, at best, you're functioning at 10% of your capacity, right? So then regardless of which way you look at it, there's a lot locked up within. But only when you're understanding yourself and your mind, and how, your mind affects your behavior and your results, your self-image and all of those constructs, can you really, be committed to playing full out.
I love that. That's great. So, do you have any final piece of advice for our viewers today?
I think we talked quite a bit, but of course, this topic is vast.
Oh, we could talk a lot longer. There's
No, that's okay. This topic is vast, so I'll just share a couple of points as your takeaways, if you will. Right? Um, Tell yourselves, guys, this is actually the truth, and you've heard it, that when you grow, your business grows. When you stagnate, your business stagnates. So then be committed to developing yourselves, because your level of accomplishment in personal and professional life can never exceed the level of personal development and growth that you've had, right? That's one. Look at your business as a reflection of you. And I think we touched upon that point a little bit. But us entrepreneurs, when we get to, be in a business and provide services, it's a privilege, it's an honor to be able to be in a field that you're passionate about and provide service to people in ways that's meaningful to you. So really, if you will, shift your perspective toward your business and really look at it as a vehicle that allows you to live your purpose, right? And then as you think about business growth, remind yourselves that I said your business is a reflection of you, but your business growth essentially is tied to your revenue, right? But what is revenue? The earnings. And what did we just say moments ago? That your earnings are the reflection of the amount of service that you're providing. So if you want to earn more, be willing to provide more service, not just in quantity, but quality. And there, the rule of thumb that I always kept in mind, that one of my mentors, have taught me or has taught me, is that your ability to earn in a business setting depends on three things: the need for what you do, your ability to do it, and the difficulty there is in replacing you. So the field that we're in, the need for what we do is there, without which we would not be in this business, right? So the need is there. As long as you're focusing on upping your game with your thinking, with your beliefs, with your actions, with your contribution, then you're taking care of that second part of you developing your ability to be an absolute crackshot entrepreneur. And as you do that, then your stock goes up. So the piece that each one of us, you and I, Kelly, each one of us really have to focus on is, how can I improve myself in terms of my skill set, in terms of my mindset, in terms of my execution habits, and all of that. And in closing, Kelly, I'll say, even when we put all of this into practice, right, doubt might show up, but then remind yourselves that the doubt is a product of the habitual thinking. You know, Price Pritchard, the guy who wrote the book U Squared, puts it beautifully. He says that there's a difference between disciplined, accurate thinking that can take us to our goal and habitual mental chatter that keeps us locked up in doubt and worry. So when that doubt comes, remind yourself that the absence of the evidence is not the evidence of the absence. You are on your path to building the business of meaning, purpose, and significance. Just stay the course, and as you're staying the course, work on yourself so your effects can, really prove that growth. So I hope that helps, Kelly. And anything else that you would like me to share?
I am thrilled. This has been so illuminating. I've loved it. I know that you have something, a freebie for the viewers today, and yes. I'm positive that some people are going to want to have further conversations with you. So I'm going to ask you to tell us a little bit about the freebie, but then also at the conclusion of this, to go ahead and put all your contact information in the chat so that people can get a hold of you and get more information about exactly what you offer and how you can help them with their mindset and their goals and being able to achieve at such a high level of achievement. That was really convoluted, but
Yeah, you spoke well. I will just say I have two things for you folks. I know that the first point in any learning is awareness. So I'm hosting a mini training in April where I will be diving into these topics, the topic of mindset and success and prosperity and fulfillment as it ties to your business growth or your personal growth, right? I am going to speak to it in a very structured, systematic way. I will also be, I'm committing to assigning some homework so that it's an experiential learning for you. So if you would like to join me, then just, be on my distribution list so I can keep you posted. I'm just finalizing the date. It's going to be in the month of April. Second thing is that my, goodies for you today is a checklist. It's called or titled 12-point checklist to take your business or life to the next level. And what I have, captured in that checklist is the practices that you can incorporate in your life beginning now to really start experiencing little shifts day after day, week after week. So I will make sure to put the link here. It's a MailChimp link. As you, put your email address and name, then you will get the checklist. And then aside from that, I always love to connect with people on Facebook or LinkedIn. There's only one Pradnya Leitner. My name is fairly unique. So I will put the link in there, but I would love to connect with you and hear from you what you gained from this. If you have any questions, right? All of that. But Kelly, again, I want to thank you. This was, very meaningful dialogue that, you facilitated. And thank you for taking the time to organize this and really giving us sort of a channel and avenue to provide value to our viewers.
I can only tell you that it was my pleasure. This was a great conversation. I really enjoyed it. And I got a lot of information. I think our viewers did as well. Thank you again, Pradnya, and we will see you soon.
Sounds good. Have a great day and a great week.